Today, I'm going to show you how to do this super simple lock-on effect that you can use for videos from anything from gaming all the way to market, advertising, and product placement. It's really easy to do. It'll only take you a couple minutes, and we're going to be doing it within Adobe Suite. So as you can see here, we're starting in Premiere. You get this lock-on effect. I'm targeting my nose in the tracking, and we'll get into that in a second, but it's really easy to do. Even if you're working in Premiere, if you have access to Adobe After Effects, you'll be able to make this work and include it in your Premiere project using dynamic linking, which makes it very simple to not have to render back and forth and move back and forth between Premiere and After Effects. So we're starting with a very simple non-tracked clip here. All I'm going to do is right click on this and replace with After Effects composition. As you can see, it's going to take us into an After Effects composition. All you need to do is just save the project to any location on your desktop or within your editing folder that you can access later. Now what you want to do is you want to go to Window and ensure that Tracker is selected. If it's not, just make sure it is, and it should appear down here in the bottom right. Now what we're going to want to do is with our clip highlighted here, we're just going to click Stabilize Motion, and we're going to get a track point that's going to pop up. I like to zoom in, and I like to feature this somewhere on my face. If you hold the space bar, it'll bring up this hand, and then you can drag it around to make it very simple. Try to find a point in your image that's very contrasty. For example, you have like the dark holes within the nose here. You also have the somewhat mustache that I have that you can use. Just something that contrasts between light and dark or colors that'll make it easier for the system to actually track and know and lock onto that point that you want it to lock onto. So I'm going to pick the spot right here in the nose where it's between dark and light. Is it gross? Probably, but does it work well for tracking? Absolutely. This outside box is a wider range that it's going to look for. Now, the wider you make this, the longer it's going to take to track, but the more effective of the track it might be. Just depending on how good your system is, you're going to want to make that judgment call there. So I usually keep it spanning from about the whole size of the face, and then with the smaller box, I usually like to keep it just the size of whatever object I'm tracking. So for me, it's like the nose within the mustache area. There's not too much movement within this clip, and you want to make sure you have some size to scale up here because we are going to be zooming in on this just based on the movement that it's going to be creating within the final product. So this looks good for me. We have a great tracking range here. For our motion source, just make sure it's the name of your clip. On the track type, click Stabilize, make sure position is selected, and then hit the play button to analyze forward. As you'll see here, this will start going forward. It'll start tracking our clip. If at any point within your clip, your tracking point gets way off and you need to readjust it, all you need to do is hit the stop button here, go back to whatever frame it was off, and then you can manually move that back for each frame and then go forward again, and it should go right on track. If it doesn't, you can just do it frame by frame. It's totally your call. We're correcting one frame, and then it should be able to fix itself for you. So we're going to let this analyze all the way through. I'm going to fix any points that I can that get messed up along the process, and I'll see you guys when it's done. I just want to show you here, if you're moving very minuscule amounts, it doesn't have to be perfect, especially if you're doing this for like a gaming video or something like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be absolutely spot on 100%. If it moves a couple pixels or a couple inches, that's okay. It's totally your call how well you want to do this, how careful you want to be with it. For me, I'm mostly careful, but this is always like 5 to 10 second clip as a part of a larger, 13 to 14 minute video. So I'm not like super specific with it, but it's your call. However specific you want to be with it, do you. So we've just reached the end here. It doesn't make any sound or noise or anything. You just kind of have to notice that your playhead has gotten to the end of your timeline. Now, all we want to do here is just scroll through and make sure that our point looks pretty good for most of it. It does. It got a little bit off towards the end there, but I'm okay with that discrepancy just for the sake of this like 5-second clip. Now you want to hit apply and hit X and Y dimensions, and this is going to make that happen. Now, if we scroll along here, you'll see that there are some times when our edges get outside. So all we really need to do is scale this in now by holding the shift button and dragging this out. It'll keep our aspect ratio the same, and I like to zoom in a decent bit and then drag my face towards the middle of the screen. We're perfectly tracked basically in the middle of the screen. You can do this with like headphones, like that famous Beats commercial. If you're interested in doing that, this is just how to do it in Adobe Suite. I know there's a lot of Final Cut tutorials out there like that by like Daniel Schiffer and everyone, but this is a great effect, a neat little effect just to kind of mix up your talking head shots. Sometimes when you have a lot of talking head, it can get boring, it can get monotonous, and you can lose your viewers by clicking off, by getting bored, by losing their engagement in the video. This is a great way to keep them engaged, something to mix it up every now and then. Do not overuse this because it will get tough to watch if you use it too much. If you use it on every single shot, you definitely don't want to do that. And now all we have to do is just like Control S or save, file save in the top left there, close out of After Effects. Now you'll see that we have this updated. It's essentially the same thing as our After Effects project. You also see this red line, which means Premiere is not going to be able to render this in full time and full speed if we want it to play through. So instead, what we're going to do is we can right click on the clip, click render and replace. Next to original media is fine. I just use the match source Apple ProRes 422 under QuickTime. Click OK. This will render out this this clip so that we can play it back in full speed. As you can see, the line is now yellow. It plays back much smoother. And then before we render, we can actually right click again and go restore unrendered. Or if we need to go back to the dynamic composition, the linking, go back to the After Effects project, we can do that now. And we can click edit original. So this is how to do that super simple effect. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, drop a like, subscribe for more tutorials just like this. And thank you guys so much for watching.